Look at you, Michigan. Am I proud of you? You did it. You did it, man, and you got the right. You voted for the right person. I'm stoked. See, your AIPAC money is not going to help you here. Your $54 million, you could throw that shit away.
Here's why this is significant, folks. The goalpost continues to move for the centrists in D.C. because we heard from many that this could only take place in places like New York. Then they said that only in blue districts like Denver with Maila Quiros would this occur. Now we see this happening in Michigan, which is arguably not even a swing state. People are just tired of the politics as usual.
Haley Stevens had massive support from establishment Democrats and outside groups spending $60 million on her campaign, and Abdul El-Sayed still won.
Specifically about AIPAC money, more than $46 million has been spent on AIPAC spending to back your campaign. A lot of people wonder if that is something where you're going to do their bidding should you win this seat. Is that something people should be concerned about? And if not, why not?
Absolutely not, Rube. Look, I have been very clear, consistent, and transparent, and I have continued to be.
Israel comes to me in my dreams.
So her strategy, because usually you don't expect a nigga to hammer you on campaign finance like that. He can because he's not taking any corporate PAC money.
I can't wait for politics to not have money anymore. Money needs to be out of politics immediately.
You expect it to be a Democrat versus another Democrat. Both of y'all are being bought by fucking DTE or ExxonMobil or some shit. So it's not you getting in the waters and being like, you taking fossil fuel money, or you taking AI money, or you taking... That's what it's supposed to be. Except for no, one person is taking all of that money. The other person is saying no, and I can't take that money because that'll influence what I'm going to do with the policy.
What it's about that the billionaire class and their super PACs are now spending over $60 million to defeat El-Sayed. What are they afraid of? And the answer is that if Abdul wins, but if he's able to withstand this $60 million in expenditure, the word goes out all over the country, we can take on the oligarchs, we can take on the super PACs, and in fact, we can create a government that works for all. That is what makes the Democratic leadership very nervous.
I'm positive this is going to change the entire Democratic Party because this is a pattern they can't ignore anymore. Democratic voters are sending a very clear message that endorsements, super PAC money, and party leadership don't automatically decide who wins anymore.
Greetings to you, my BBPN family. Welcome to Bold Perspectives Network. I'm Mr. Red. Abdul El-Sayed just won the Democratic primary against Haley Stevens, who, as you had a lot of outside influence trying to buy that race. For all of you all that say that voting doesn't matter, if voting doesn't matter, why do you have so much outside money coming in for not just Thomas Massie? Because remember that $30 million had going into the race against Thomas Massie, a Republican. And those same people put in $60 million in this Michigan race between Haley Stevens and Abdul El-Sayed. Why are they spending so much money to try to influence these elections if they aren't trying to influence certain regions to continue to keep the status quo as it is, i.e. the Donald Trump criminal regime? Why is this race so important? Why are these races so important? They're signaling something that is scaring the Democratic establishment. And I'm not talking about Republicans right now, even though we're going to talk about that here in a second. But I want you to realize the Democratic establishment is scared of these type of people coming in. Now, I have a video in the future that we're going to do where we're going to talk about these new type of politics and these new type of politicians, because I want to get you amped up. I'm tired of always putting out bad news. But today, we're going to look at people losing their damn minds because Abdul El-Sayed won this primary race and has a chance to become a U.S. senator that will help us in our cause to continue to bring new type of progressive politics that will help not only me, but it will help you. It will help the least among us. Today's news is about this victory. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
It's official, Abdul El-Sayed won, and here come the meltdowns.
His policy beliefs, they are dark, they are scary. El-Sayed is vowing to eliminate private health insurance in favor of a single-payer system. El-Sayed wants to abolish ICE, reduce military spending.
I learned from the young voters who are, for Haley Stevens. They're afraid.
Abdul, we're looking at Che Guevara. This is literally a communist takeover of the Democrat Party.
A man named Abdul El-Sayed is about to become the first Muslim socialist ever nominated for the United States Senate in Michigan. And does he kind of look like somebody you might be familiar with? Maybe that other socialist Muslim, always smiling, the one in New York City.
Not in the slightest, you racist fuck. But a common theme of the election coverage had to do with Abdul's criticism of Israel.
At its core, a platform of obsessive dislike of Israel. El-Sayed seems to bring up Israel and AIPAC constantly.
And the Democratic Party is making clear they want nothing to do with anybody who supports the fact that our ally Israel is fighting against these terrorists in the Middle East.
His position is for a full military embargo of the state of Israel. We can't even sell weapons to Israel, even if they're defensive.
Okay. But the reason he talks so much about Israel was because interest groups like AIPAC spent $30 million trying to influence the outcome of this race. And a lot of those pundits want to speak for voters and say that his views are just too extreme. Well, the voters made it clear what they think.
Abdul.
And why is that?
Because he doesn't take money from AIPAC. I'm not voting for anybody who takes money from AIPAC.
And why is that?
Because the money should be spent here.
I don't want somebody that's in somebody else's pocket.
Overall change in people who had an independent view and thought process of what's right for the voters, not what's right for corporate PACs.
Hey, Democrats, the voters just sent you a loud and clear message. Listen to them.
These people, the pundits, are losing their minds. They want to continue to do the thing that they've always been doing, and that is to use the buzzwords that scare people. They want to tell you that, oh, it's communist or it's socialist. They want to use these words. They've been very good over the years to tell you these words, and most people don't even know what the they mean. And they're scared of them because they only get to hear these people get on TV who get paid millions of dollars to try to influence you to think that, hey, this person is going to completely destroy the country. Listen, people are worried about a Muslim democratic socialist getting in office, but you all aren't worried that there's a foreign government that is directly influencing our elections through corporate PACs? But then when you get people who want to make a change in this, make this country better, and who refuse to take outside money, who stand on principle, who don't want their vote to be bought, then you don't want to get up out of the couch and vote. You can't sit here and have it both ways. You can't say that both parties are evil. Hey, Haley Stevens is taking money from the same people that the Republicans are giving money. Then you get a Abdul El-Sayed and your ass sits on the couch. This is why nothing changes. We have got to be smarter about the politics, and that's why this vote means so much.
Okay, Van Jones, what are the stakes here for Democrats?
A guy named Gil Scott-Heron, who had a great called "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." Gil Scott-Heron is wrong. The revolution is being televised and podcast and streamed and elected. Why is that? It's because there is a credibility gap that's opened up between the establishment and its insurgency. People are looking at people and they're saying, you've been telling us the same thing for a long time and our lives are not any better. We got Donald Trump twice. Why can you spend $60 million and get whooped like this? Because the old model was you get the donors to get the consultants to buy a bunch of ads and you win. That's how you get attention. This movement says, I don't need donors, ads, I don't need consultants. I'm going right to the people with TikTok and grassroots, and they've disintermediated the entire donor class, disintermediated the entire consultant class, and this is a revolution.
So this is actually not a bad take from Van Jones. It's straight to the point. Van Jones is a part of what you call the establishment. The ball straight down the middle for the establishment Democrats. I should clarify that, okay? Van Jones is on here, and he actually makes some excellent points when it comes to the expectations we have as voters toward the future of the quote-unquote Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is guilty. They're complicit in the fact that they, because they won't change their ways, allowed a Donald Trump to be able to get into office. You even have people in the Democratic Party who is voting, somehow in the last moment votes, and Trump gets what he wants. So we cannot trust this party anymore. And I'm saying this party, I am an independent. I used to be a Democrat. I was a registered Democrat. I've been a registered independent for a number of years now since Bernie Sanders got cheated. So I don't trust them either. But I will say that in order to affect change, we can't do it through the independent party, right? We can't do it because it does not work. There are studies done on why it won't work. So the best way to do this is to change the Democratic Party because they're weak and feckless anyway, and we need fighters in there. And that's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear from other people on why they don't trust this goddamn party going forward.
So when someone like James Carville says he doesn't want to be in the same political party as Hassan Piker, which one are you going to take?
Well, that's not much of a choice. If Mr. Carville doesn't want to be in my party, the party that I belong to, that Piker, that El-Sayed belongs to, he can start his own party. But, look, what we are doing now is, you could turn the tables around and say, do you really want to be in a party where your leadership is taking huge money from AIPAC, which is supporting an extremist Netanyahu government that many of us believe have committed genocide? Do you want to be in a party with people who do that? Do you want to be in a party which has not stood up to the AI industry because they got a lot of money from AI or from crypto? So you could pick, you could pick whatever you want to pick. But I think we need a big tent, and I think people should be welcome into that, certainly.
Do you see how they bend the narrative? Not just them saying stuff like socialist, right, and communist, these terms that are supposed to make you feel afraid. Only idiots are afraid of it because they don't understand what it actually means. And at this point, are you going to let these same people like Tucker Carlson, who used to say the same thing, get on TV, use the same buzzwords, and now all of a sudden he's anti-Trump? Again, if you listen to that shit, you are a fool. But I know most of y'all are not. Most of y'all that rock with this channel, y'all know the game. Y'all know the deal. Do you notice how every time these, like somebody like Bernie or AOC or any of the people that's on the progressive left, if you will, of the or the DSA, they always get these people come on and they formulate these questions in such a way to be like gotcha questions. They're all part of it. It's all bought and it's all being controlled by the same rich elite people who really want to continue to have the division among us. The people that sit here and ask these questions are rich. They're not sitting there because they're doing it out of some principle. They're doing it because it's a goddamn job. And it's our job to listen and pay attention. Bernie Sanders says, who cares about a James Carville? James Carville, his old ass, might have been good back in the day. But the problem with people like him is they are the people that are still trying to influence, direct, and control our votes. They're in with those same people. And we're just done with that shit.
David, what do you think? Is the middle overrated? Is he right?
I think voters are, I think that there's a division generationally in our politics and at this table where you guys grew up in a politics that's much more left-right. My generation, it's much more about top-down politics. Increasingly, we feel like we are not getting by. Our generation went to college at some of the highest rates in American history, and we find ourselves worse off than our parents over and over and over again. And I think that's part of what's causing this sentiment of people just voting against the system. And I think Abdul's case for his electability argument, I would say, is that he can turn out young people that historically have not been mobilized, that have not been heard in the political process, that feel like they have no place in it, by showing them that, for example, he didn't need to have $60 million spent on him by AIPAC. I think it's crazy that people are arguing that somebody who had to have $60 million spent on her, for regardless of the results tonight, for the results to be this close despite that much spending, to argue that she is the more electable person in this race is unbelievable.
Shout out to David Hay. His generation, though, is the one that they lost out on their future at all. Like, They really have nothing to look forward to. And when you get to the point of desperation, you're going to try something different. Everyone wants to justify why they voted for Trump, right? They say, well, we needed something different. We complain here on the left that, we continue to pick the same weak, feckless ass people who capitulate and try to, let's go talk to our friends across the aisle. Not your friends. They're not even patriotic. They are rich. They are getting rich. And they want Trump to continue to stay in power because he's making them richer. They are no longer operating because they work for you. They work for the elites.
Donald Trump was embarrassed in Michigan last night because his endorsed candidate, Amir Hassan, lost to someone who had dropped out of the race weeks before and told people, don't vote for me. And this is one of the districts that Republicans hope to win. So this is Michigan's 8th congressional district. Thomas Smith, a candidate who has raised zero money, dropped out last month out of this primary and had no shot of winning, no endorsements, no support, just won, beating Amir Hassan and Al Lemma. Amir Hassan is Trump's endorsed candidate. Donald Trump threw his weight behind him, supported him, wanted him to win. He's down 11,000 votes or so, 17% of the vote. Why is this a big deal? Well, this district is a district that Republicans hope to win. It's literally a toss-up seat. Well, not anymore, because now you have a candidate who literally dropped out and has to get back in the race potentially, take on a candidate. I mean, this is just a mess for the Republican Party right now.
Dude completely dropped out of the race. And even Republicans are like, you know what? We're going to vote for the guy who get in the race who completely dropped out over the two candidates that are going to push on us. Just a year ago, if Trump had pushed candidates, they were all winning. MAGA was still voting for these people. And now they're like, I don't know about that. Hold on to yourself. I don't really know if we're going to do that, all right? I just want to show you how things are changing and being manipulated and just things are just moving right now with all of these elections. Listen, I'm not going to keep you long. The biggest thing that I want you to take away from today's video is the fact that both the Democratic and the Republican establishment are panicking. And they're going to continue to say these buzzwords. They're going to continue to bring out these boogeymen to make you feel like you're wrong for wanting universal health care, that you're wrong for wanting your groceries to be affordable, that you're wrong for not wanting to support a war that you didn't get a representative to vote for, that you're wrong for actually wanting elections that are free and fair, that you're wrong for not wanting to see a G side over there and it's not real against the Palestinian people over there. Like, they're gonna make you feel like you're wrong for supporting things. You're wrong for, not thinking that we should all this money flowing through and influencing these elections, and that you're wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong for doing for your family, and more importantly, for your country. And that's why it's important for us to get out there and vote. Stay vigilant. Stay engaged. Stay revolutionary.